Last time the U.S. won the CONCACAF Gold Cup, it was here in Chicago. 6 years later, the States are back in the Windy City for a title game and riding a mammoth wave of momentum.
24 games in 12 American cities, and it's all come to this. Our continent's premier soccer competition, the CONCACAF Gold Cup. This summer, two teams have risen high above the rest. The dominant United States national team.
Nice play by Eddie Johnson as he's getting behind the defense. Johnson shot, and he scores. Eddie Johnson gives the U.S. the lead.
A record-breaking win streak, a goal-scoring explosion, and the best soccer they have played in their 100-year history.
Donovan chesting it down. Donovan crosses, and the Americans score.
If anyone can stop the red, white, and blue, it's the Red Tide of Panama, unbeaten, having twice defeated Mexico. After losing to the U.S. in the final 8 years ago, they know revenge is a dish best served cold. Live from Chicago, a champion will be crowned. The United States versus Panama. The final of the 2013 Gold Cup is right now on Fox.
The U.S. enters with their offensive attack in clinical form, but that man, head coach Jurgen Klinsmann, unavailable on the bench today. They'll be coaching, if you will, from the stands. Panama, they set the tone on day one of this tournament by dropping Mexico. 4 days ago, they pulled off the same feat, thereby earning the right to get here to the finals. On the banks of Lake Michigan, it's historic Soldier Field. Today, the home of the Bears host the final of this region's top national soccer team tournament. It is the CONCACAF Gold Cup final live on Fox, and we welcome you inside our Los Angeles studios for the Sprint pregame show. Sprint, official sponsor of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Rob Stone, joined by former English international Warren Barton, and our U.S. duo down there, Kobe Jones and Heather Mitts. A slew of storylines and features coming, but first, really the big news on the day. If you go back to late Wednesday, the semifinal victory for the U.S., head coach Jurgen Klinsmann, visibly upset at a series of non-calls in front of the U.S. bench, was dismissed from the game. Late Friday, the CONCACAF Disciplinary Committee ruled that Klinsmann would be suspended for today's final. Assistants Andreas Herzog and Martin Vasquez will be co-coaches today, with Herzog listed on the official team sheet as the manager. Klinsmann had to leave the players once they arrived at the stadium, and there will be no electronic communication allowed from him. How does that impact the team going forward today, Kobe?
Well, I think it's going to affect the team as far as being a former player that Klinsmann was. He's very vocal and he has a lot of energy. He's animated on the sideline and gets his team pumped up. So I think that's probably the major aspect where they're going to be missing on the sidelines today.
I think there's so much pregame preparation that goes into today that when the U.S. steps foot on the field, they should be ready unless they get into trouble. But, I mean, I look at all the experience of this team. I mean, look at Landon Donovan. He's done so much this tournament. Maybe we can just add player coach to his resume.
I think also as well is that Panama will cause some problems because they're experienced, they know how to manage game, and what Jurgen is very good at is setting the tone of the game because he is very enthusiastic. He is telling his players to go for. So I think from that point of view, they will miss him if there is a problem in the game that they maybe go behind on a set piece.
We saw the images of the team coming off the bus. It was Jurgen greeting every player with a hug and a pat and a word, and then it was, see you guys.
That's like you when we come to
Oh, absolutely. After the halftime show, see you guys. Time now for our Sprint starting lineup. Sprint, official sponsor of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Kobe, the States, they're going to seek their 5th Gold Cup title with this starting 11.
And what I love here, in the back line, keeping that the same. Been very solid so far, and they're going to keep moving forward with that. Kyle Beckerman, Stuart Holden, holding it down in the middle. So important that they kind of, you know, one goes forward, one holds. But then on the outsides, Joe Cronin and Bedoya, they're going to have to get up and down and get that service to Landon Donovan and the man, Eddie Johnson, who's been great in the air.
Panama, finalists in 05, where they lost to the U.S. on penalties. They'll start this way, Warren.
Yeah, and I think when you talk about Eddie Johnson, Torres, number 5, the captain, he won't mind a battle because he is big, he is strong, and he's good from set pieces. The goalkeeper, in my opinion, has been the most consistent goalkeeper in the tournament. Quintero, watch out for him, number 19. He gives Mexico all sorts of problems. I like Sanchez, big fan of Gomez, and the two up front, 7 and 9, they will call you problems. Got 8 goals in this competition already.
And for the latest, we head out to Chicago. Eric Winalda, Gus Johnson will be calling the match today, guys. He had the chance to speak with Jurgen Klinsmann yesterday and today. What did he say about this odd coaching situation?
Well, you know, I mean, it was really interesting to spend time with Jurgen because he has so much confidence in this team, even though he won't be on the touchline. And he talked about wanting his players to take responsibility for their careers, for this team, and being able to figure things out on their own.
On your own. That's the one thing that we picked up on it, guys. I think when you're looking at this game, one thing that we've learned about Jurgen Klinsmann through this competition, it's all about preparation and delegation. He's been able to delegate his energy to some of the other coaches today. But, I mean, I think he has all the confidence in the world in this team. There's nothing better than that as a player. Pat and a smile, you guys got this. Let's go win.
All right, we bring in Dr. Joe. And Dr. Joe, you agreed with the decision to toss Jurgen 87th minute in their last game and subsequently suspend him for the Gold Cup final.
Absolutely. You know, the laws of the game require the occupants of the technical area to act in a responsible manner. The referee's report indicated that Coach Klinsmann slammed the ball hard down in a violent manner, and since soccer is a player's game and not a coach's game, that's enough for a dismissal.
All right, time now to join the fourth member of our team roaming the pitch this afternoon, Sports Illustrated's own Grant Wall.
Thanks, guys. How big is today's final for the United States? Both Landon Donovan and Jurgen Klinsmann told me that as much as the U.S. has dominated this Gold Cup, people will judge their entire tournament based on what happens today. Rightly or wrongly, people will also judge today's co-head coaches, Martin Vasquez and Andy Herzog, who are under intense pressure. But there's also a big potential upside. The U.S. could win the Gold Cup for the first time since 2007 and get the inside track on a berth in the 2017 Confederations Cup on Fox. Rob, back to you.
All right, Grant, thanks for the knowledge. Both the U.S. and Panama took care of their business in the group stage, going undefeated, and both moved through the quarters and semis by outscoring their opponents 8-2.
Harris lays it down. The follow-up a goal. Gabriel Torres has his second. And Donovan chasing it down. Landon Donovan puts the nail in the coffin. Run it from the free. There's the goal. 2-1 victors over Mexico. Panama into the Gold Cup final. Back off Bedoya. Donovan. The shot. Incredible. USA wins 3-1 over Honduras. They're on their way to the final.
Donovan tied for the tournament lead with 5 goals, 2 of them coming in the semis, both of those assisted by the man you're about to get to know better, Alejandro Bedoya.
Yep. On their own. Lead it that way.
Alejandro Bedoya, midfielder. Nicknames from high school, I used to be called B-Time, short names like Ale, or they just call me by my last name. I might be a little bit embarrassed to say this, but lately I've been watching The Bachelorette. If we had a men's national team bachelor show, I would have to put Stuart Holden up there. I'm not afraid to say he's a good-looking guy. After a long day, especially after a hard training session, there's nothing better to do than go home and get in my own sauna. Yeah, I do have a sauna in my home place. I'm signing out of here. It's been real.
The CONCACAF Gold Cup pregame show is presented by Sprint, official sponsor of the CONCACAF Gold Cup.
Plays there.
The American legend, Landon Donovan. Donovan cross it, and the Americans score. What a playmaker. Donovan steps up and scores easily. Donovan chasing it down. Will it go this time? Yes! There's an answer back for Donovan.
That's what you want to see.
Landon Donovan, brilliant.
Donovan has started every game of this Gold Cup, and he is the tournament's all-time leading goal scorer with 18. In this edition alone, he has hit for 5 with 7 assists and has directly been involved in 8 of the team's last 9 goals. His international numbers, they continue to swell as well. Program best 56 goals, 56 assists, and he has more than worked his way back into a regular role with the U.S. men's national team. Landon has gone from leader to outcast to what we clearly perceive now as a regular force again with the national team. But Kobe, where does he fit in the big picture for today and those big qualifiers coming up in September?
Well, when you look at it, Landon Donovan, especially today, he's the catalyst for this team. Everything that he does in this midfield, it really centers around him getting forward into these spots. And people talk about him being the winger, but when it's really Landon Donovan's best position is right here in the middle where he can float.
I think you're right, Kobe. I think, like you said, he'll be able to go, Landon, into areas where he wants to. For me, he's vital, Beckham. He needs to stay in a position where he can just screen the back 2. On this side here, Heather, you know, he's not the best defender in the world. That's why I think he plays, because one, he's got the legs to get up, Johnson, but also he can come back and screen the fullback as well.
Yeah, but Bedoya showed his energy in the last game. And, you know, he can make the Panama defense work, and that means good things for the U.S. defense, not having to work quite as hard. I mean, we've seen them be kind of susceptible a little bit on times on set pieces.
Yeah, but I know you said as well about Beardsley as well. He's a player that will push forward, and he's been one of their best servers of the ball as well.
Yeah, it's very important with Beasley getting forward. Corona's going to step in inside Bedoya as well, and Beasley's going to make these darting runs deep, getting past Corona, getting ball in service. And who's he going to find? He's going to find Landon Donovan and Eddie Johnson up front, and we know how Eddie Johnson has dominated in the air so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Eddie has become a huge talking point up top for the States, but not too long ago, few expected EJ to be back in a national team uniform. Turbulent times, personally and professionally, threatened to end his career, but the resilient 29-year-old rallied and is now making the most of his second chance.
Corner kick coming up for the Americans.
Let's see if they make that switch now. Look at Eddie.
A broadcaster's dream. We know real. And he hits it in! Wow! Straight off the bench! Demolition Man!
What are the nicknames that have been thrown your way because of the blonde hair?
Demolition Man. I don't really look like Wesley Snipes, but I guess the fans right now, they're kind of loving it, so I'm going to go with it.
Where's your career right now?
My career right now is probably, I couldn't be any happier. The key to being happy on the field is a happy personal life. And right now, I'm enjoying and finding my love and passion and drive back for the game. And I'm really blessed to really have had a second chance.
You had great success as a U.S. Youth International, signed with MLS at the age of 17. Finally went over to England, and things never seemed to click for you as a player. Why didn't things work out?
Because I was a young kid trying to balance that whole being a father and having a family and going over to a league where there's so much pressure, there's so much stress. So from a personal standpoint, I wasn't happy. And then we go to training with no desire, no determination, no willingness to compete. And I kind of went through that.
There was a window not too long ago, about 6 months, you were out of contract, no team to play for.
When my contract was over in Europe, my younger cousin passed away. He had a brain aneurysm, and I was very close to him. Hit me really hard, and I kind of went in this depression. Soccer wasn't even on my mind, to the point where I didn't even care if I played anymore. You know, 1 month went by, 2 months, 3 months, 4, and like you said, 6 months. And then, you know, at some point you start to heal, you start to get over it. And that's when Freddie Adu actually called me and was like, you know, man, I know you're going through a lot. Just wanted to reach out to you because, you know, the soccer world's missing you. I was like, you know what, he's right, man. I need to get myself back out there and not let all of this talent that the Lord blessed me with go to waste. In January, the opportunity came to go to Seattle. I'm blessed to, you know, have a second chance again.
Oh, nice play by Eddie Johnson as he's getting behind the defense. Johnson shot, and he scores again!
What's the biggest motivation for you right now as a player and as a person?
My kids. I've been blessed to be in an opportunity where I can give them a lifestyle that I didn't have growing up. So that's what motivates me and drives me whenever I'm on the field, being able to play as many years as I can and to be able to provide for them in the future.
What would making that 2014 World Cup roster in Brazil mean for you and what you've been through?
You know, I've had the chance to play in the 2006 World Cup, and I missed out on the 2010. It's one of the most painful things ever to deal with or have to go through, knowing what it's like to have already played in one. But for me, it'll mean everything in the world. At a point where I was at my all-time low, no one believed in me. You know, you got to love yourself, and that's what I learned.
Rise and shine, man, rise!
EJ with 17 career goals on international duty, including a memorable hat trick off the bench back in an 04 World Cup qualifier versus, that's right, Panama. Coming up, we turn the focus to the Canal Men. Panama in the midst of one of their strongest runs in memory. Why they are a legit threat to down the U.S. next.
The CONCACAF Gold Cup pregame show is presented by Sprint, official sponsor of the CONCACAF Gold Cup.
The countdown to kickoff is brought to you by Domino's. Oh, yes, we did. Panama, in their second ever Gold Cup final, they have outscored the opposition here 11-3 with 2 shutouts, and they are led by former standout player and current head coach Julio Deli Valdez. Our Francisco X Rivera caught up with the boss yesterday in Francisco. What'd you learn?
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob. Coach Deli Valdez had only met Panamanian pitcher Mariano Rivera once in his lifetime, but he knew he had to invite him over when he found out the pitcher would be in Arlington to face the Rangers earlier this week. Mariano was at Cowboy Stadium to celebrate the victory with the guys. He inspired them into a victory. His words were very motivational, according to Deli Valdez. And Mariano told me that he would be in his heart and with his prayers with Panama. Back to you.
Mariano Rivera, the great closer for the Yankees, was at that game. The Yankees happened to be in town. There's some other great Panamanian athletes through the years. You see Nomas, Roberto Duran over there on the left. Ronaldo Blackman, remember watching him with the Dallas Mavericks? And I got mad hits like I was Rod Carew, the MLB Hall of Famer. Rod Carew, and there's the coach, Julio Deli Valdez, probably the best soccer player Panama has ever produced. Gabriel Torres may eventually add his name to that wall, Ward. How will he and the Canal Men give the U.S. some issues today?
Well, one, you just spoke about there, it's the shutouts that they've had. Defensively, they have number 5, probably the best man-to-man defender in the team. And then the midfield, they've got creativity. But set pieces is something they build on. They've got good delivery. And I said with Torres, watch the way he attacks the ball. The ball's put into an air. He's got every desire to win the ball. And that's an area that's been Achilles' heel for the U.S.
That guy's an absolute beast. You talk about Achilles' heel. 50% of the goals the U.S. has allowed here at the tournament have been off of set pieces. All tournament long, we've asked you to send us your best Instagram photos using the hashtag Gold Cup on Fox. There's a good one to Marcus Beasley and his locker pregame there. We're expecting some strong Instagram photos today, and here's a little carrot for you. Today's winner gets a U.S. Centennial jersey and a ball. Coming up, the second meeting between these two in just about over a month. Back on June 11th, the States, they dropped Panama 2-0 in a home World Cup qualifier. Our keys to the game coming up next. Time now for our Chevrolet keys to the game, and we head back to Chicago and Eric Winalda. Eric?
Simple here. I mean, you got to stay true to yourself. I mean, let's just face it, both of these teams scored a lot of goals, not conceding a lot. Stick to your plan, and you're not going to fool anybody today. Everybody's very familiar with what you're going to do. The Americans kind of have to stick to the plan with Klinsmann up in the stands. And most important, more than anything else, we're going to enjoy this one. The reality is this is a final. Go out there and enjoy yourself. Have some fun.
I see Eric has been brainwashed by our Fox Sports 1 seminars. I love it. Have some fun. Thanks, Eric. U.S. trying to win their 5th Gold Cup today. Panama their first. Anthems, lineups, and first half kick coming up on the backside.
The CONCACAF Gold Cup pregame show was presented by Sprint, official sponsor of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. You're watching the CONCACAF Gold Cup on Fox, presented by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Live look from Soldier Field in downtown Chicago. Only 3 countries have ever won the Gold Cup in its 22 years of existence. Panama trying to join the U.S., Mexico, and Canada in the winner's bracket. There's our Jurgen cam all fired up. Free Jurgen. What a great hashtag that one is. Last couple of days, everybody asking, is Jurgen Klinsmann going to be available? Is he not? Some people certainly not in agreement with the decision to have Jurgen Klinsmann unavailable on the bench for the U.S. national team. It's going to be a big talking point throughout the course of our game. Eric Ronaldo and Gus Johnson standing by for the call with that one. A lot of offensive-minded players on the field today, Kobe, for the United States, which puts a little extra defensive focus on Kyle Beckerman.
Yes, a lot more pressure on Beckerman. He's going to have to be in that central position, really holding tight, allowing players like Holden to get forward, allowing Landon Donovan to have a lot more freedom, and especially those wide players. They're going to come inside, help him a little bit, but he's going to be that cog in the middle, basically.
You know, Panama brought their big boys for this. They're here to win, you know, and they've only given up 3 goals. So it's really important for Landon Donovan and Eddie Johnson to continue that chemistry and really put pressure on that back line.
I think you're right, and you said about Jurgen Klinsmann obviously not being on the field. But they've got Stuart Holden. He's got great personality, and more importantly, he's got great enthusiasm. And like Eric rightly said, go out there, embrace it, enjoy the moment. I think Stuart Holden is doing that as well as Eddie Johnson.
Enjoy the moment. And I loved how Jurgen was telling the guys, you know, let the players take care of the business. Give them some freedom. But an injury, a red card, an early goal, all of a sudden everything changes, and that's where you really do start looking at your head coach.
And that's what Panama will want to do. They will make it uncomfortable to play against because they are experienced, they are organised, they have got good players. And Kobe, you know as well as I do, they've got to be patient in the US.
Yeah, you have to be patient in this situation. You tend to, in finals, to get a little bit nervous, but like we've talked about, there is a lot of experience here, and I think overall that's going to shine through for the U.S. That's what allowed them to get to where they are right now, where they've outclassed, their opponents.
I mean, this is their opportunity. This team has made it to the finals. Yes, Jurgen Klinsmann is not on the sideline, but I'm sure they've gone over all the different scenarios, and Martin will be prepared for whatever happens.
The bottom line is, Landon Donovan, Eddie Johnson, they play, they win the game. End of story, because the back line, as good as they are, Panama won't handle their two chemistry.
And Nick Rimando maybe hasn't seen a whole lot of shots this tournament, but he has had some spectacular saves. He has more than cemented himself as that quote-unquote #3 goalkeeper for the United States.
Yeah, we talked about a #3 goalkeeper, but he's a veteran. He's played for years with the national team, years professionally. He knows what to do to get the job done and keep that ball out of the net. He will organize that back line as well.
If I was playing against him, I'd get lots of crosses in because he's not the biggest goalkeeper, and you've got Blas Perez and Gabriel Torres that will attack the ball, and the big player at the back.
Well, Nick tends to think that he can come out for those crosses, so that will be a question, I think.
Nick, one of the more acrobatic, athletic keepers through Major League Soccer and with the U.S. national team. There's Landon Donovan. He has started every game this edition of the Gold Cup. DeMarcus Beasley, the native of Fort Wayne, Indiana, used to play in Chicago with the Fire. His wonderful parents in attendance for this one, and DMB doing a wonderful job with the captain's armband around those rather slim biceps of his. I love DeMarcus. I love DeMarcus. I love his family. Always have. Wonderful people. We step aside now for the national anthems of Panama and the United States.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Panama, to be followed by the national anthem of the United States of America.
Damas y caballeros, les pedimos permanecer de pie para el himno nacional de Panamá y después el himno nacional de los Estados Unidos de América.
The four of us will join you next at halftime. Now we send it out to Chicago. And the two men will call it for you, Eric Winalda and Gus Johnson. Guys.
All right, thank you very much, Rob, and welcome to one of the greatest cities in the world, Chicago, Illinois. Legendary Soldier Field, the place to be, and we're ready for the Gold Cup final on Fox. It's the USA taking on Panama. Hi, everybody. Gus Johnson along with number 11, Eric Winalda. And Eric, we have the two best teams. Two teams that know how to put the ball in the hole.
Yeah, that's what this is all about. I mean, look, a lot of people expected today to be all about the United States versus Mexico. That isn't the case because the two best teams are in the final. The United States and Panama have been scoring more goals than everybody, 30 collectively. That's a lot, people. If this is the first time you decided to watch a soccer game this year, good job. You picked a good one.
All right, let's take a look at the sprint starting lineups, and we'll start with Team USA.
Now, they're not going to make any changes really in the back line. Raimondo hasn't had a shutout yet, but he's deserved a couple. The only real change here is Corona. Six will come out on that left side. He's been on the right, but Bedoya has been bringing the energy. He had a couple assists with Landon Donovan and EJ up top. I like this team staying consistent.
And the Panamanians, led by their head coach, Julio de la Valdez.
One of the things that you have to think as an American is test the goalkeeper. Pinedo had some problems with that calf. Is he completely healthy? Who knows? Strong back line. Rodriguez and Torres been the best of the bunch. Gomez kind of runs the show. Quintero will get after you, but Gabriel Torres and Blas Perez are trouble up top.
Julio de la Valdez, 46 years old, one of the greatest soccer players in the history of Panama, one of their greatest athletes ever, and he has just done a wonderful job coaching this team.
Well, he's taken advantage of all of their assets. This is a team that will get after it. He's given them confidence, but now they're organized, which makes them really dangerous.
Your referee this afternoon, Joel Aguilar, 38 years old, a native of San Salvador. He has been a full-time international referee for FIFA since 2001. He's refereed 2 games in this tournament, Mexico-Canada, Mexico-Trinidad and Tobago. He was also the referee in the Snow Classico when the United States defeated the Costa Ricans.
That's somewhat of a reward. Yeah, there's Andy Herzog. He will be the #1 guy, as Jurgen Klinsmann, as we told you, will be up in the stands today. This guy's got a pedigree as well. He's his right-hand man, but today he's in charge. Good luck. Or should I say, viel Glück. Martin Vasquez, he's the guy with the clipboard. He is a little bit, he's not going to get up. He's not as animated as Andy Herzog is. We'll see how they both react, but they're basically sharing the responsibilities today.
All right, unseasonably cool here in the Midwest. 68 degrees at kickoff time. But for a player, that must be perfect weather.
This is absolutely ideal. I mean, a lot of people concerned about the humidity and whatnot. A little bit of wind, that's not going to bother the players on the field, but man, it couldn't have cooperated any better. This is absolutely ideal for both teams.
DeMarcus Beasley, the captain, Roman Torres, the Panamanian captain. And we are at Soldier Field, home to the monsters of the Midway, the Chicago
Bears.
All right.
But should I say the Bears?
The Bears.
I got to say that right.
The United States will be without their head coach, Jurgen Klinsmann, suspended for the final. But he had a twinkle in his eye. It's almost as if this is working out exactly the way it should.
And look, and he is German. I'm sure he has a plan A, B, C, D, and probably E and F prepared for today. He's all about preparation. We've been very impressed with him. But I think this is a wonderful opportunity for his team and all of his work, the culmination of all of the work, not just in this tournament, for a year. Let's see what we got.
A lot on the line for the Americans. They come into today's game on a historic run of form, having now won 10 games in a row, 3 more than the previous high of 7 straight accomplished in 2007. That was the last time they won the Gold Cup.
They did it right here in Chicago. Let's give Benny Feilhaber some props there. He hit a great shot to beat a great Mexican team. But they have some great memories here. I mean, great memories with this U.S. side, trying to make some new ones.
Panama coming in the final, playing their best soccer of 2013, beating CONCACAF giants Mexico 2 times in a space of 18 days, and winning 4 of their 5 games in the Gold Cup. Their only blemish, a draw against Canada in the group stage. Americans to kick off. Eddie Johnson, Landon Donovan, and here we go. Gold Cup final, Chicago. USA, Panama. Beasler with Clarence Goodson.
Nice composure there.
That's one of the things you'll see about this Panamanian team. They will put a lot of pressure on you immediately, trying to force mistakes. That's how they got a goal against Mexico.
Here's Holden. Beckerman playing that traditional number 6 position. Far side of the captain, DeMarcus Beasley.
They saw a little exchange there with Beckerman kind of running the show there. Nothing is more frustrating as a player than when you're chasing it and they just keep moving it so fast you can never even find it.
Is Beasley starting this game playing a high line?
You know what? We'll see how he integrates into this game. And one of the things that he has to be careful of is if he wants to join the attack, that he doesn't leave that space open, guys.
And this Panamanian team led by goal-scoring talents of young striker Gabriel Torres and FC Dallas star Blas Perez. They anchor a potent Panama offense. Torres, co-leader for goals in the tournament with 5, along with Landon Donovan and Chris Wondolowski. Wondolowski not starting this afternoon.
And Blas set out the first game. People don't remember that. That first game he had to sit out against Mexico because he was still with his club side. You could tell in his mannerisms he was upset to not be a part of it, but he's had his inclusion in this competition.
Here comes Panama in red. Alberto Quintero, number 19. Keep your eyes on him, folks. For Panama, he has feline quickness and a great ability to dribble penetrate into the box.
And don't blink. He seems like he'll sleep at times, but this little man can run at you, and he is not afraid of anything. 5'6". How about that? No wonder you can't find him sometimes.
Goodson moving up. Bottom of the center circle. Now Michael Parkhurst. Near touchline, Bedoya trying to control. And this will be a throw-in for the American.
Good pressure there from Panama. They're just kind of swarming, trying to force a mistake. They're doing a really good job of sliding together as a group. This is not typical for a Panamanian side.
Eddie Johnson can't control it on his boot. Paris deflecting it. And it looks like it'll be a throw for Panama.
That's really only switch today with Corona moving over to the left. You know, it's not a difficult thing. People say, well, it looks like a big change on paper. It really isn't. He'll be fine.
Here's Landon Donovan. He's had an incredible tournament. 5 goals and 7 assists for Team USA. Bedoya dispossessed by Bedoya. Now little Carlos Rodriguez.
And both teams have just upped the tempo. You can see him, it's kind of contagious. And one guy goes, the next one has to go. Parker's a little bit over-exuberant there with that foul. A little talking to. You got to watch the referee today because at times, some of these games can get out of control too early. Good job by the ref. Have a quick word with him. Calm him down.
Blas Perez camping under it, headed by Clarence Goodson. Now Eddie Johnson coming in. Bedoya looking for Johnson. Member of the Seattle Sounders has 2 goals in 2 games in this tournament after being called up. And the United States would love nothing more than to jump on Panama early.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that really nobody's been able to do. And the energy that Panama brings in all of the games is throwing people off. You expect them to sit back. You expect them to rely on a counter. But this is a team that not only they're organized now, but when they break, they go with numbers. And it's a problem.
Parkhurst tossing it in. Sanchez.
And now we get to the point where he's probably overreacting a little bit. Not much of a foul there. That's just good pressure from the captain. Made a joke yesterday. He said he's the captain of the ship. A little bit of a homecoming for DeMarcus. Obviously started his career here with Chicago Fire. Got to see the folks this morning. They're all smiles.
68 degrees, a little windy here at Soldier Field. You can probably hear it in our microphones on the pitch.
Good feed from Corona.
Donovan chesting it down. Bedoya in front of him. Parkhurst lays it forward. Stewart Holden.
The first couple of minutes of this game, everybody's just trying to get a touch, even all the way back to Ramondo. So good with his feet. I mean, he has had such a fantastic tournament, and people don't realize what an asset that is to have a goalkeeper that you can trust to chip it back to him if you have to. He'll handle it. He's fine.
Beckerman. Rimando with no real chance to get considerable playing time when they get back to World Cup qualifying because of Howard and Guzman.
Yeah, and that's, you know, you're never hoping for injury, but the one thing that I've taken out of this competition, I think that Jurgen Klinsmann probably feels the same way, is in the event that a couple of our guys go down, we're in good hands with Nick Rimando.
And Torres heading it forward. He's their captain. Godoy looking for Quintero, trying to outrun Parkhurst. Parkhurst gets there, and Parkhurst comes up a little lame.
She stepped on his heel there. But you saw it there. I mean, he knows what he's in for today. I mean, Quintero's fast. Just a little nick there.
Parkhurst, a 4-time MLS All-Star. Rodriguez. They throw this one right out of play. Let's go downstairs where Grant Wall has a nice story on Nick Rimando.
Gus, there's a little bit of Gold Cup history coming full circle today. In 1991, Nick Rimando was a 12-year-old ball boy at the first Gold Cup final in Los Angeles. The U.S. prevailed that day against Honduras, and Rimando told me he was right behind the goal during the penalty kick shootout. He's hoping it won't go to penalties today, but if it does, he says he's ready. Back to you.
He's not kidding either. He's been in a couple of shootouts at DC United and with Real Salt Lake. The final that he participated with Real Salt Lake, he did go to the penalty kicks, and he was phenomenal then. So, again, we're in good hands with Nick Rimando. Somebody make a commercial.
6 clean sheets for Rimando with Real Salt Lake this season. Here's Leonel Paris, veteran for Panama. Easler. Gomez. And DeMarcus Beasley backtrack. Sanchez keeps it alive. Beats Beasley for the ball. Now in the corner. Sanchez crosses. Ross Perez was there. Nicely done, though, by Beasley. No call. Looked like Bedoy was fouled. Annabelle Bedoy. There's number 20. There's Sanchez.
It's one of those tweeners. You got to go for it. Sanchez just took the low road, if you will. Not much of a foul, but still, I think what we're seeing already is Quintero and Sanchez can give the United States trouble on the wings. You have to be very wary of where they are at all times.
Joe Corona has had a very solid tournament as well, scoring 2 goals, sent in, and quickly headed out by Clarence Goodson. Gabriel Torres looking. He finds Gabriel Gomez in the area, crosses, and played out by Parkhurst, who got back. Roman Torres in position to head that one in.
Yeah, that's their center back, by the way. Gomez gets in behind a couple of great run by Blas Perez. Just gets caught underneath his feet. That could have been a dangerous situation. Good positioning from the Americans.
In the first corner of the match for Panama.
Now, keep in mind, this has been the problem for the United States. Set pieces have been not been at their best.
Torres with the corner kick. Eddie Johnson there. Gomez winds up. Man, just too much power. Make that Sanchez. As he sails that one high over the net.
They're trying to stop that from the beginning. That's the international sign for knocking out. He's telling him he took a dive. We're only 10 minutes in. Those set pieces can be a problem. It gets pretty grabby. I think he's focused in there on Beckerman, who was getting a little bit grabby on Gomez and pointing at each other at the end of the play.
The 11th minute of the Gold Cup final between the Americans in blue and Panama in red. Both these teams excellent in this tournament. Only 1 draw for Panama. The Americans have won every game they've played. Beckerman turning. As they'll switch sides. Clarence Goodson hitting it over the top, looking for Eddie Johnson, posting up Roberto Chin. Roberto Chin, a young player. This one sent in by Bedoya. DeMarcus Beasley. Corona with Sanchez on his hip. And Eddie Johnson make that Beasley running into the referee. Americans keep it though. Stuart Holden will sail this one into the stands.
Just smart the way he went into that tackle. Sometimes you overdo it and you can get yourself hurt. He's been in enough of these. There's the miscommunication with the referee. Watch how Stuart Holden just kind of make sure that he gets back on the end of this. Not the best shot. We all remember how many times Stuart Holden, that man, has been in some nasty tackles. Has sat out almost 2 years waiting to get back on this team. Good to see him out there.
Here's Stewie. Spent a lot of time playing in Europe. Beckerman forward. And a foul. Looks like this will be Beckerman going over the top of Annabelle Godoy. Roberto Chin plays it far side. And Raimondo coming out to gobble it up. We'll roll it out. Beasley on the move. Beckerman.
It's good ball movement. Most of the Americans realizing that 2 touches is about all you'll need. Got to get it off your feet quickly.
Parkhurst overlapping. And a little too loose from Holden. But this man here, Clarence Goodson, Jurgen Klinsmann couldn't say enough good things about his performance in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the reason why he's made him vice captain, which is not, that's not something you usually talk about, but the energy that he brings, the commitment, I think the word I would use is I think Jurgen Klinsmann is just proud of him because he's really accepted the challenge and become an important part of the team.
Coach Klinsmann saying that Clarence Goodson has given everything that he has. Now Holden looking for Eddie Johnson.
That's a good indication that, especially from those two. I mean, it's the pass and then that follow-up run is what you like to see. There's a quick peek at Jurgen Klinsmann. There's the bench today, the guys with the clipboards.
Your former teammates there.
Casey Keller, great to see him back. Andy Herzog, the guy in the middle. This was a wonderful career with the Austrian national team. Played against them a number of times. Werder Bremen, standout, captain. Logical choice.
13 minutes gone by. Eric, your thoughts so far?
Well, it's what you expected from Panama. The reason why the U.S. is struggling to hold the ball and to get in behind them is because everybody is struggling to get behind these guys. There's a full commitment. They're very organized. What the U.S. needs to start doing is starting to figure out how to get the ball wider quicker. You know, when you're playing against guys like Quintero, ooh, unlucky there. Quintero and Sanchez, they don't like to defend. They don't want to defend. So when you turn the ball over and you have those opportunities, you got to recognize them quick and get after them.
Rodriguez.
Now, he made my best 11.
Did he really?
As a left back. I thought he has had a fantastic tournament.
Fifth meeting between these two sides in the past 2 years, and the 7th Gold Cup meeting between the two countries. The United States holds a 4-1-1 advantage, eliminating Panama in the last 4 Gold Cups. Raimondo, Chen, the United States leads this tournament in goals scored by 8, having found the back of the net 19 times. Panama second closest with 11 goals. Corona.
One of the things we're seeing with Beckerman and Holden kind of slipping into that spot and wanting the ball. The did not see that for the Mexican side. They just seem to be hiding in the midfield. Ended up coughing up the ball a lot.
Chip forward. Donovan looking for Bedoya.
Kind of have to keep hitting the reset button because they've fallen back into a defensive shell, which is a credit to the Americans, but they've been able to hold on to the ball for the last bit. Good spell of possession.
They'll swing it, Parkhurst.
Just looking for an angle, just trying to find a little pocket where they can exploit that center of the park. But they're doing. Gomez is doing a great job of Bedoya just locking up all those holes.
Eddie Johnson. Far touch line. Face it. Johnson trying to beat the defender. Byline, but Roman Torres having none of it. Beckerman. Johnson again. Edge of the box now.
He wants to be into the line. That's what he's thinking about, but he just can't line him up.
Beasley. Donovan. And he's bumped off the ball by Quintero.
He just didn't know he was there. Quintero says he got elbowed, but I mean, there's no way Landon Donovan could have known that Quintero was behind him. This might take a second.
Roberto Chin down.
Yeah, Chin got it in the chin there.
And this will be the first corner kick for the Americans. And we've seen some interesting formations from Jurgen Klinsmann on corners.
Yeah, no short corner today. I mean, it worked several times against El Salvador.
Landon Donovan with the right foot. Parkhurst comes up. Donovan. And this one punched out by Pinedo. Donovan again now. Nice move. Leaves it. Parkhurst chips it in. Deflected. Now Quintero.
Yeah, you got to be careful now. This guy can run.
Alberto Quintero in space. And a foul coming up against the Americans. And Holden down, holding his knee.
Oh, that's not good to see. Oh, it just looked like they hit knees there. It's the right one. You see him go down.
Holden missed 6 months with cartilage damage to his knee.
Oh, man, you hate to see this. I mean, that's Ivan Pereira, the trainer, long time trainer of the U.S. national team. What he's doing there is he's checking the ligaments, actually. And you get that test. Let's see here. It kind of hit, but he's holding that right knee, guys. The thing that bothers me about that is no real collision on the right. So we're going to find out right away what is exactly wrong with him, but they got to play for 10, with 10 for a bit.
Nick Diskerud gets off the bench, starts to warm up. Las Perez ahead of the field, and
he caught him. A little push from behind. That's the look of, what? I didn't do anything, but that's the doc checking out the knee.
Las Perez playing for
little
Dallas.
Push right there. That'll get you in trouble every time.
San Jose Earthquake. And Clarence Goodson.
This is a tough spell for the Americans because they have to be really careful playing a man down.
Looks like Diskerud will come in. Paris. Taken away by Beasley. Parkhurst near touchline.
Americans will hold on to it for a bit. There's no reason to try and really push the game. They know exactly what's going on. It looks like Mix Diskerud will come into the game for Holden. They don't want to get caught in a compromising position. Man, I hate to see that. I think every American is rooting for Stu Holden to get back, get healthy. I hope that's not a serious injury.
Beckerman.
There's some strength there from Eddie Johnson.
Donovan. Johnson trying to keep it in. Here's Holden. And let's go down to Grant Wall.
Yeah, guys, Stuart Holden just crushed right now on the sideline. He was looking forward to this final. He's been dealing with injuries for 2 years and just came back. And I ran to his mom this morning. She was so excited about this game, and he was too when I had coffee with him. So mixed disc group coming on. You can't afford to have 10 men on the field for too long. Back to you.
That really is a shame. I mean, you can just tell that he is destroyed. One of the things, you know, from Jurgen Klinsmann's standpoint, he is in the stands. He had a plan A, and it just switched. So now he has to figure it out. But the good news in that is he was very talkative about Mix and his inclusion in today's game. He felt like, you know, I had to make a tough decision. I went with Stuart Holden. But I think the confidence is still there with Mix coming in again.
Here's Joe Corona to Eddie Johnson. Johnson stepping over. Sends it in. Roberto Chen heads it out. But the bigger question is who's making the calls for substitutions when you have two coaches that are sharing the head coaching job?
Well, I think, you know, you go through this tournament, and they've all gone through it together. I mean, Mix has been a starter on more occasions than not in this competition so far, so it's one or the other. And if somebody goes down, I think the planning for this made it pretty easy. Mix was an easy decision to make, so I don't think you had to wire up to the booth.
Rodriguez can't get there. Parkhurst, first man of the ball, and now, after playing with 10 men for quite some time, Diskerud will come on for Stuart Holden. What do you like about Mixed game?
A lot. You know, I mean, for me personally, watching this guy grow into his role on this team, he's just getting better and better. The more comfortable he gets, I think that the sky's the limit. This is a guy that's on the fringe of making the World Cup team, but this tournament certainly has helped him.
What's the difference between Diskerud's game and Holden's game? How does it change what the Americans are trying to do with Diskerud on the pitch?
Well, what he'll try to do, he'll sneak into that offensive third, maybe in a different way. I mean, where Stuart Holden's much more content to take an outside shot. Mix will mix it up. He'll get in there. He'll try and get right in behind the forwards. He did score a goal in this competition, so he also gives a little bit of that aerial threat.
Beasler, Joe Corona. Near touchline, Bedoya and Carlos Rodriguez.
That's a good job there from Bedoya. They're searching for it. They're trying to find that pass wide as quickly as they can, but the longer they take, the more opportunity they give the red shirts to slide over, and then they get on these one-on-two situations that you got to back out of.
Diskerud, wheeling. Now Parkhurst. The man we haven't mentioned too often in this match thus far is Landon Donovan, and he's been the best player in the Gold Cup this year.
And you know what, the reason why we haven't mentioned him a lot is because of the defensive work that Panama is doing. What they're doing right now, and it's forcing Landon to kind of come back into the midfield and try and find the game, if you will. Because as a forward right now, you got 20 and 6 sitting right in front of you at all times. So Bedoya and Gomez are going to sit right in front of you. It's hard to find a pocket.
Donovan has been playing forward most of this Gold Cup. What's his best position, though?
Even if you ask him, I don't think he knows. I don't think anybody knows. I'd like to see him as close to the opposition's net as possible. But he likes to go in those little pockets and play right behind the forward. He does have that speed factor that he can break out of the midfield, which makes him so dangerous.
Eddie Johnson, physical. Here's Jeffrey Webb, president of CONCACAF, the gentleman in the center.
Likes to be called El Presidente. He's a great guy. I mean, he's going to mix it up again. I mean, I think that's been the theme so far in the first 26 minutes. Is both teams just trying to not let plays happen. Unfortunately, this is this is going to be a scrappy game.
Las Perez. Bedoya tripped up.
Yeah.
By Bedoya.
Yeah, they got quick feet. I mean, every single one of the players is this Panamanian side are very gifted, technically gifted. You think you got a chance to get in their face and cause a mistake, and they'll play out of it. Even for a big man, Gomez can get out of these situations. Here's our first look at the sidewinder.
Donovan leaves it for Corona. Johnson. Here come the Americans. All sent in, and Roberto Chen sliding.
Good positioning. It's fantastic positioning. Realized that the ball did finally get in a wide position and had to go find the one spot he thought the ball was going to go. Look at that line. Man, that's a well-drilled line. That as a manager, Deli Valdez has done a great job. He's trying to say get to the ball quicker, but when you can't, the positioning is everything, and they've really become a better side in that regard.
Donovan with the corner again. Las Perez heading it to Quintero.
Man, watch him on the break here, because there's some dangerous players here.
And Beckerman getting all the way back. No call.
That's well done.
Bedoya.
Unlucky there, just a little bit too wide.
Panamanians countering very fast when they defend the corners. What we've seen from Panama in their Gold Cup matches is first 20-25 minutes. They play with an unbelievable pace.
Yeah, and they make every play count. Everything, every little tackle, every 50-50 ball, they are in on it, all in on it. It's very close to being a break for Eddie Johnson.
Clever play by Donovan. Paris. Sanchez, far touch line. Bedoya looking for Quintero.
That's a great ball.
Quintero crosses. Quintero!
Quintero to Torres. We saw that against Mexico in the first game. Same exact play to get the ball wide, and everybody knows where to be, and the delivery was pretty good. I think we're going to get a little break here.
Gabriel Torres.
I think that hit him where he didn't want it to hit him. There's that play again. The ball gets wide. Again, we've seen this time and time again. You send two guys out there, and he's just trying to get something on it. But certainly a forward is still going to make great runs. I mean, every time they get the ball in a wide position, he seemingly figures out the right place to be.
And the Americans wanted to keep playing. Captain Joe, your comments.
Yes, the Americans had possession of the ball. The Panamanian player was down. Only the referee can stop the game, and he chose to, but he restarted it with an uncontested drop for the American team, so they kept possession, but looks like he took away what might have been a promising attack with the whistle.
Gabriel Torres walking pretty well. He'll get a little jog and be ready to come back into the game.
And he'll hear about it. This is Chicago, by the way. They'll let you know.
Eddie Johnson on the byline. Marcus Beasley moves it to Joe Corona.
And one thing I'm seeing, Gus, is that Parkhurst is in a pretty advanced position, but he's got to overlap. I mean, just passing it and hoping something happens is one thing, but you got to recognize those opportunities to create the two versus one situation. The Americans aren't doing a very good job of getting it down the sides.
Intercepted, Clarence Goodson.
Well played.
31st minute. The Gold Cup final.
See, I'd like to see him pass it and take off. The only way to stretch this defense is to force them to run with you. Being content to hold the ball is one thing. That's one thing. I mean, I understand possession is king at times, but force them to react. Just content to keep possession right now.
Wide play has also been one of the keys, as you mentioned, for the United States. And their success, they've served up 123 crosses in the tournament. Wow. 60 more than the next closest team. Smashed away by Rodriguez. And it's forward Beckerman.
It's a good forced mistake. Now can they go? Corona.
Now Sanchez. Looking forward. Gabriel Torres back in, number 9 for Panama.
Great play by Panama.
Discaroo squeezes it through. Eddie Johnson looking for Landon Donovan, headed out by Roman Torres, who's been a fortress in this tournament.
And he read that play correctly. Would have liked to see Eddie Johnson try and find somebody wide, go and get in an advanced position. You see he's looking for Landon. They're trying to get Landon in the game.
There's Goodson backtracking. Gabriel Torres. And Goodson not happy with his teammates.
I just want a little cover there. It's okay, though, every once in a while. No pride, just put that in the stands. As you can see, the possession way in favor of the United States. Panama has just basically fallen into a much more defensive shell than we've seen them in previous games. Maybe just a little bit too cautious.
Inside. And Godoy didn't get all of it.
That's a good matchup. He loves to dribble.
Paris with Gomez. Paris sends it in the area. Jaime Pinedo, the goalkeeper for Panama, saying the United States is a very important team, but we want to beat the big teams, and we have big dreams.
They've done that twice in this competition. Taking out Mexico. Not a lot of teams can say they've done that. Panama is the up-and-coming team in this region. They have the talent. They seemingly have all the right ingredients now to be a force. They'd love to win this thing. Still been searching, trying to get Landon Donovan into this game.
Sanchez, double team, trying to split Beasley.
Let's get quick feed from Corona and Beckerman. That's how you break pressure.
Goya. Hesitation. Doya winds up, deflected.
I'll take a corner out of that. That's positive. Just finally wrong foots him. Why not? Not the better of his 2 feet, but still results in a corner kick. See what the United States do this time. I think the last couple of times we've seen a corner kick in this game, there has been a little bit of space at that near post.
Landon Donovan on the ball again. Swings it out. Headed down. And Eddie Johnson just boxed out. Thought he had great position. And we will get you information on Stuart Holden, who went out here in the first half. As soon as we have more, Grant Wall is working, trying to find out more information about Stuart.
You know, again, it's a situation where Panama is allowing them to have the ball in their own half. It's just going to come down to one pass. It's going to have to be the right one. Obviously, that didn't work out, but the United States is going to have to force the issue. They'll force a mistake, but it's what they do when they finally get numbers up.
Beasley fouled on the far side. Looks like Sanchez may have knocked him down.
Yeah, and one of the things about Sanchez and Quintero is they don't allow plays to happen. I mean, if they get in a situation where they feel compromised and they feel like they might get beat, they just end it. They'll just foul and just get it over with.
Last time these two teams faced each other was June 11th when the United States beat Panama 2-0 in a World Cup qualifier. United States top of the hex with 13 points. Panama in 5th with 6 points, but only 2 points behind 3rd place Mexico and 1 point behind 4th place Honduras. Costa Rica in 2nd with 11.
One of the things, you go back to that last meeting against Panama, it took the Americans a long time to break it down. 60th minute really until they were able to get control of that game. Eddie Johnson got the goal coming out of a wide position. Tonight he's he's up top. He's just finding a lot of trouble, finding those little spaces and pockets where he can play. I mean, it's one thing to be able to keep possession. Parker's trying to push the issue now, like finally getting in the other end. It's frustrating.
Nick Ziskaroo. Parkhurst with Eddie Johnson. Play a two-man game. Johnson trying to keep possession. Johnson sliding in. Finally cleared. Godoy.
I didn't even know it was there.
Are the Americans missing their head coach right now?
I don't think so. I think what they're doing is they're in a situation where Panama has just decided that they're going to allow the Americans to have the ball and force them to break them down. Until this game progresses, until the United States decides. Even there's a little bit of frustration. That body language tells you something. Tab Ramos right next to him. So if something goes wrong incidentally, Tab Ramos is the quickest, I'm told, of the assistants. So if he has to run down there, he's the delivery boy. I'll tell you, Tab Ramos was one heck of a player, and he's still quick.
Beasler.
That's better. Bypassing Goodson to makes you get it wide quicker. It's just still a little bit too slow for my liking.
Parker's looking for Corona on the far side. Paris.
And they both kind of hit there. Never fun. I'll wake you up. Yeah, Paris probably got the worst of it. Now they hit heads. Busy half for Ivan Pereira. That's the worst, when you run all the way out there and then the guy gets up and doesn't need you anymore. Poor Ivan. You can clearly see that they do hit heads. And in slow motion, it doesn't look that bad. I tell you, that hurt.
Joe Corona, born in California to a Mexican father and Salvadoran mother, is actually eligible to play for 3 countries before choosing the United States. Plays for Tijuana, his club team in Mexico. Parkhurst. Now Julio de la Valdez having some words with the referee, Joel Aguilar.
That's the guy with the flag that ratted him out. I think what he's saying is you keep leaving your area. And we might get 2 coaches thrown out of here. No, he's just getting verbal. And problem is that guy understands you.
Eddie Johnson. Kicks to Screw.
Well done. Yeah, you got to call the foul there. This should be interesting. This is actually a pretty good spot for a set piece. We'll see how the Americans handle it.
And when we talked to Jurgen Klinsmann yesterday, he had some very special plays for set pieces.
Yeah, he did. And you know what? It involved Stuart Holden. As you see the foul there, great job. Try and turn the corner on Godoy. Again, back to that topic. I mean, every time that they've gotten in a compromising position, they will foul. They got to move that line back. And if you're looking at it from this angle, what he's trying to do is put it right about there. Just get in behind that defense. If I were him, I'd just put it right over that right shoulder of Torres. Get some blue shirts in front of the net.
Andy Donovan puts it right where you told him to. This ball
almost worked out.
Beasler blocked. Quintero tries to beat Donovan off the dribble and does. Roberto Quintero, Donovan coming back.
It's not a foul. That is just not a foul. Great work from number 10. He has every right to complain there. Anyway, Quintero's not used to somebody running this fast with him. You see, it's Torres once again that doesn't clear it all the way out of there. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I didn't think it was a foul either.
Now Blas Perez, glancing header. '43rd minute of the Gold Cup final. Both these teams undefeated in this tournament. Only a draw for Panama with Canada. That one ricocheting off the head of Gabriel Torres. Gabriel Gomez. Beckerman looking for Bedoya. Here's Bedoya. Maybe a chance. Fires with the left foot. And he couldn't get it through.
And he probably was better served to make a pass there. Got a little bit caught up. You saw him attack the ball. I mean, in the U.S., and the positioning of Panama has been fantastic. Bedoya got wide, but he elected to attack the ball. Get there first. Make something happen. We saw that in his assist to Landon Donovan the other night. Nice little play.
Discaru tries to dig it out of the corner. Laid down by Roberto Chin.
See, yeah, this is the kind of thing that will drive you nuts. Like, how can that be a foul? There's the shot. A little bit of miscommunication there. Let's see what he was looking at. I just think he's just going down before the play even started. But Bedoya's got to be smart, though. He's fouled more than anybody else on the field right now.
Blas Perez. Clarence Goodson. Now Godoy. Roman Torres laying it over the top. Sanchez trying to hold off DeMarcus Beasley.
We'll probably get a couple of minutes of extra time here.
That ball dangerous. Blas Perez felt that he was fouled from behind by Beasler. 1 minute of added time. 0-0 in the Gold Cup final between the Americans in blue and the Panamanians in red. Now Eddie Johnson trying to keep his feet. Beasley to Donovan.
That's a foot race he can win if he can beat him. Great play there. Just, again, their willingness to engage in plays is what impresses me most. Again, not the best of. Well, you let that go.
Here's Alejandro Bedoya. in traffic. 20 seconds remaining in the first half. Not a lot of chances for either team.
Possession is off the hook for the Americans. They know that this is a side that can rely on the counter. It's creeping up towards 80%. They've had the ball the whole time.
We'll update you on the status of Stuart Holt during our halftime segment, and that is the end of the first half. Not a lot of chances, as we mentioned, for either team. 0-0 the score at the break here in Chicago. Gold Cup final on Fox.
The CONCACAF Gold Cup Halftime Show is presented by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time.
First half highlights brought to you by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it is Miller time. Jurgen Klinsmann not on the bench. Free Jurgen! You know our friends at Live Breathe Football and Bumpy Pitch are going to be making T-shirts with Free Jurgen soon. 11th minute, Stuart Holden. He's been active all tournament long, Kobe, but he's had problems finishing.
Well, I think this is really for Stuart, just getting back into the rhythm, all that time out. Yeah, he's getting under the ball and hitting it over the top.
7 minutes later, Holden collides knee to knee and would go down, and that pit in your stomach just grew.
Yeah, I think Eric touched on it as well. Without any contact, that is a huge concern. Not only with his history, but how he come to hold his knee.
28th minute, Quintero with the service. Torres, tough little ball at the near post, and he goes down. And scoreless at the break, and Jurgen will have to send his notes to Tab Ramos down to the locker room to pass on to the U.S. men's national team. Heather Mitz, Kobe Jones, Warren Barton, Rob Stone back here with you. Heather, speed of play, a bit of a concern for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just too slow right now. You know, they're bunkering, and it's making it very difficult for the U.S. team. I think the other thing, too, is since they're plugging it up centrally, you want to have those center backs bringing the ball up, drawing someone out, and then play from there.
And when it comes down to, for me, it's aggressiveness for this U.S. team. I think, get the ball into Eddie Johnson's feet. That's where they're having success. He's playing very well, and any time that he gets the ball, players running off of him, and he lays it off, that's how they're going to break down this Panamanian defense.
I think Eddie's got to step it up. I think sometimes he's being too predictable. He's playing. All he's doing is moving from one defender to the other. You've got to make runs in behind, because that will either give you the ball or it will let Landon Donovan get hold of it. It's too predictable. You're right, Heather. It's too slow, too predictable. It's quite monotonous. They've got to step it up, because Panama are happy. Yes. They're enjoying the game. Longer it starts grinding out 0-0, they'll get more and more confident.
And back to that Stuart Holden injury, a well-liked individual on and off the field by everybody on the team. You wonder how that injury impacted him and the teammates. Everybody knows how much he's gone through.
He needs to now just put that aside. Yeah, he needs to say, come on, boys, do it for me or do it for the country.
We remind you, head on over to facebook.com/Fox Soccer. Log on to vote for your Facebook Man of the Match. Results coming up after the game. When we return, Grant Wall will join us live for the very latest on Stuart Holden's knee injury. The main talking point thus far in this CONCACAF Gold Cup final, Stuart Holden, knee to knee, walked into the locker room, subbed out Nick Stiskerud on for him. Stuart Holden, no stranger to injuries recently. You see the fractured leg, torn ACL, and then knee cartilage damage. And just getting back with the U.S. men's national team, sent to the locker room for the very latest on it. We go live to Chicago. Grant Wall standing by. And Grant, what have you learned about Stuart Holden's injury?
Yeah, word just came from the locker room in the U.S. saying Stuart Holden has a sprained right knee and will be evaluated later. Keep in mind, this is the same right knee that he injured against Manchester United 2 years ago that led to so much of a recovery and rehab for him. So that's all we know right now. We'll send it back to you.
Grant, thank you for the knowledge, and the nonverbals say an awful lot as you look at Holden's reaction on the bench when he was subbed out. Second half action coming up in moments. We're tied at zeros. The United States has eliminated Panama in the last 4 Gold Cups, trying to do it again today in the title match, a rematch of their 2005 title match, which went to penalties, eventually won by the U.S. The first time Panama had ever made it to the Gold Cup final. Today, They're second, scoreless at the break. Second half action about to kick off. Landon Donovan and the U.S. getting set for action. And for the call, we send it back out to Chicago. Eric Winalda and Gus Johnson.
All right, Rob, thank you very much. So we're ready for this second half and a different kind of halftime for the Americans, a different voice or different voices in their ears.
Yeah, and that is something to talk about. But I think that that's when you rely on your leaders. You're hoping that there's some kind of a meeting that was in there. Most of the time, to be fair, the assistant coaches do most of the talking at a halftime situation. So I don't think it has too much of an effect on it. What we're seeing, though, is we're seeing a Panama side that's very content to defend. They want this game to last as long as it possibly can, which is disconcerting to me because this is an American side that's used to having a shot on goal every 9 minutes. And they haven't had one on target yet today. So, I mean, for me, a couple things. The U.S. has to start overlapping this team, commit bodies forward, and start getting around them. You can't go through them, so get around them.
But the big story in the first half, Stuart Holden had to walk off the field, injuring his knee. He suffered a sprained knee, replaced by Mix Diskerud.
And that wasn't in the plan. No one expected that to happen. You hate to see it. But if you're talking about a team that is having to mix it up a little bit in the sense that they don't have their head coach on the side, that is an adjustment that we're not ready for. And if we're looking at a team that's trying to push this into overtime, you got to be very careful with your subs.
Well, for the Panamanians, they must be happy so far with this score because they are definitely in the game. And they've shown an ability to be a team that can strike quickly.
Yeah, and that's their thing. Right now, their plan is very simple. Is to try and draw the Americans down and counter them. And they've tried to do that on a couple of occasions. Some great defensive plays from some unlikely people in the sense of Landon Donovan chasing down Quintero and saying, you're not going to run past me today. There's been a couple of those times where Panama could have been on the brink, and some timely fouls and some good defense by the U.S. has prevented that.
Same 11 on the pitch for Panama that started this match. Only change for the Americans. Diskerud in for Stuart Holden, and Landon Donovan elbowed in the mouth.
Good for him. Just get on with it. He's trying to muscle up with him. Not that bad, but still.
The Americans controlling the football in the first half, 75% to 25. Now Donovan looking far side, but Doyet trying to send it in. And Carlos Rodriguez getting a foot on the football. Alberto Chen. Diskerud.
Look how compact that is. Where are you going to go? Again, got to get the ball wide, got to get around him.
Here's Diskerud, foul from behind. And the Americans will get a free kick in a dangerous area.
Yeah, this is same spot they had their best chance in the first half. Little talking to for Godoy. Mix doing the right thing. Quick play. Got him in a spot where, again, they're going to foul. They're going to foul. Keep putting them in those compromising positions, and they will continue to foul. Let's take a look at what we got. It's the same play. It's the same play, but the idea here is to really put this in a spot where it comes in right about there. Put that camera on.
Here's Landon Donovan over the ball. Goodson, Beasler, Bedoya, Eddie Johnson, all lining up. Joe Corona as well.
Yeah, 3 guys in the wall. That is unnecessary. Somebody is open. You don't need 3 guys in the wall from there. Somebody in a blue shirt should get on the end of this.
Donovan curls it in. Clarence Goodson inches away.
They're all looking at each other. How'd that happen? You had 3 guys in the wall. What are you doing? Let's take a look at him. He just overflights that by, I don't know, not much at all. That's right where you want to put it, though. Man, that was on a platter. And he says he got pushed. He has a history with Panama. Last time he had an own goal and a goal.
The United States with their first chance of the second half. Paris can't keep it in. Now Corona.
Now, if you're playing against a side that's going to do this, Gus,
do what?
They're just going to sit back and they're going to be content to defend and let you have the ball. As a forward, we knew the deal. We knew the situation. Get yourself in a spot where they're going to foul you. If I'm Eddie Johnson, I'm thinking, okay, if I can't run you, go at people, make them foul you. Make them take you down, because right now, after watching that last set piece, as organized as Panama may look, they're not too wise on those three guys in the wall deal.
Here's Eddie Johnson in the corner. To Marcus Beasley.
Take him on and get fouled. They were so content to hold the ball. I'd rather see somebody do something.
Johnson trying to beat Paris. Back door. Discarud. Oh. Roberto Chen. Johnny on the spot again. Parkhurst far side. And the Panamanians dodge a bullet.
Now he's a little bit unhappy with that. Look at that. It's just right where you want to be. A little bit of a push. You're not going to get that call, because guess what? You pushed first. Yeah, that was close, guys. You'll get your chance to celebrate at some point.
Mixed Discarud. After coming in for Holden, especially starting the second half, he's been playing all over the pitch.
Yeah, he's looked good.
And he looks good.
He has looked good. That's a tough thing to do. You deal with the disappointment of not being selected, and then you come into a game unexpectedly, and that's like, he's been fantastic.
Discarud fouling Torres.
And again, MS, say what you will, that's a smart foul.
Discarud tries to keep it down. Looking for Eddie Johnson.
Let's see how not how Panama handles this. Let's see how America handles this. Try and pin him. Force a turnover here. Joe Corona. Call didn't go his way there.
Here's Landon Donovan in the area, crosses. Donovan wants a call. Wow. And he will not get it. Joel Aguilar.
You see the reaction from Jurgen Klinsmann. They're going to call that one back for offside. Let's take a look. He's had his moments in this competition. We'll get Dr. Joe on that, but guess what? That prevented a goal-scoring opportunity. Ball to hand to ball.
Dr. Joe, your thoughts?
There are new rules.
We're working on Dr. Joe's mic. Now Corona. Hey, Dr. Joe, your thoughts?
Deliberate has to come into play. The word deliberate being the key word when judging a handball. Now, this player made himself a little bigger by trailing his arms, and the ball hit his arm. Or if you can say that's deliberate, that's one thing. But certainly by making yourself bigger, he put himself in the hands of the referee to make that decision. He decided against it.
And there was really not a lot of reaction from the far side assistant referee. It was usually a pretty good indication. He had the best view of it. So that just fuels the fire for the American side. That's good swarm of defense from the U.S. Corona, Beasley making it tough on them. We talk a lot about the Americans, but Blas Perez and Torres have really had games where they're just as frustrated as the other guys.
Eddie Johnson facing up on Paris, gets inside. Torres sliding. Great tackle by their captain.
A risky tackle, but man, that worked out.
Sanchez. That ball goes out. United States will throw it in.
Let's take a look here. He's just a little bit too far out in front of him. Man, cleaning house. That's a big boy, too. Again, Get in a spot. If you're so content to hold the ball with
Discarud, Corona. And Corona losing out to Sanchez. Las Perez with Torres in front of him. Torres trying to time his run, but Clarence Goodson gets back.
Look at that. I mean, are you kidding me? I hope everybody just saw that. That's a goalkeeper pinned on his line who just hit a 40-yard ball to someone's chest. I'm a Nick Raimondo fan. Is that pretty obvious?
Wow, justifiably. Raimondo has had an excellent Gold Cup. 54th minute.
He's not a goalkeeper. He's a soccer player.
Johnson. Bedoya.
Again, this far side is wide open. Beasley's got to figure out a way to sneak into the attack. There's that overlap.
Here's Landon Donovan centering it. Discarud chips it in, deflected out by Carlos Rodriguez.
Again, Gus, got to get around them. Done a great job of, a couple of good passes, good combination play. But when they all crowd together like that, find the openings, and they're usually on the wide side. That could have been an opportunity for Beasley to jump into the play.
Beckerman nicked from behind, but one thing we also have to pay attention to is the United States are applying much more pressure as we start the second half.
And you see, there's that immediate fouling from Panama. They're constantly making a nuisance of themselves to try and make sure that the U.S. team can't find a rhythm.
Discarud. Overlapping Beasley. Nice first touch.
Take him on.
Beasley crosses. Donovan! Oh.
That's more like it. Great play from the Americans. Beasley finally getting down that way. It's a great delivery. And it's quick, too. It didn't give Panama enough time to get back and get some people in the way. Take the flag. Is that the flag's fault? I'll get the crowd into it now. That's something that has been a little missing. Again, hasn't had a whole lot of rhythm.
Are the Americans playing wider in the second half?
They're trying. Yeah, and at times they need to recognize it quicker, though. And Parkhurst has been real smart about when he picks his times to go, but he didn't go at all in the first half.
Parkhurst with the ball.
Nice play.
Gets by Godoy. Quintero.
It's a good read by Nick Discarud right there.
Discarud bumped by Quintero. The Americans throw it in, looking for Donovan. Chen steps in front.
Oh, man, they're gonna call a bump. It's a throw-in, so it can't be offsides, people, but there's another look at that cross. I mean, Landon Donovan, perfect position. It's just tough. It's a tough deal. It has to be a glancing header. You have to hit it perfect. A little unfortunate on that play.
In the Gold Cup Finals, the U.S. has an overall record of 2-4-2, winning twice in penalty shootouts.
Don't say it now. Jinx it. I've been in a couple of those. They're no fun. A lot of stake.
Las Perez. Sanchez. Sanchez looking inside for Perez. Paris controlling. Now Beasley will thump it forward.
Yeah, just chase it down and make something happen.
Eddie Johnson chasing it with Roberto Chen. I'll tell you what, the two center backs for Panama are some pretty good players.
Yeah, and then they complement each other. It's strength and speed and a little bit of finesse. And Eddie Johnson's got his hands full. Those are a tough couple of guys to try and beat.
Roberto Chen. And Roman Torres. Gabriel Torres.
Now be careful here.
Quintero.
Yeah, he knows it. The hand's going up. And that's the apology. Could have done better there.
Joe Corona.
This is kind of where experience comes in, Gus. I mean, it's a kind of game where you're expecting players who are trying to make something happen, but you have to play the game you're in. The game that they're in is a game that doesn't have any flow. It doesn't have the kind of rhythm that they want. It's not the game that they're used to, but you got to figure out a way. You've walked into the arena and you dropped your sword. Now what? It's got to be a plan B, and I think what they need to do is to force these guys to foul, because they'll get a goal on a set piece. Great chance for it here.
Donovan trying to get by Torres, can't.
And they throw you off. They do some unorthodox stuff. Coming in the way he just did, that just threw Landon off.
Mix Discarud.
Great play.
Bedoya.
And landed all the way over here on the left. He's just trying to just disappear and come into this play late. They can find him. Get him to take somebody on here. Oh, boy. As you can see, Andy Herzog, he is the more animated of the two. Martin Vasquez, much more pensive guy. Those are the two right and left hand men for Jurgen Klinsmann. They tireless workers. I couldn't believe how much work they put into this preparation.
Intensity growing here in this Gold Cup final. The United States without a shot on target in the first half.
You see how many times blue shirts would just turn out of plays and try and keep possession. Now, I'm not entirely in favor of that, in the sense that this is the kind of game where they need to turn on a heel and make somebody foul you. Right about there is a good spot. We're content to keep the ball moving.
DeMarcus Beasley dumps it into Landon Donovan. Corona. Here's Donovan.
Be careful here. That's a great play by Mix. Just stay with him and be a nuisance. Great play. He keeps doing stuff like that, he's going to make the World Cup team. Let's see what Deli Valdez is up to. He's going to make a switch.
Looks like Jairo Jimenez will come on.
Well, they're not ready for him yet, so they have to. The referee's trying to put the ball back in play.
Chen. Now Roberto Quintero. And he's tripped up by Alejandro Bedoya.
We might see a card here. That was unnecessary. Yeah. And like, I love when guys do that. They go, "That was my first foul." No, it wasn't, and it was a bad one. You know, just take your medicine. They'll do it again, or they'll throw you out.
The United States has won 4 Gold Cups. 2 were by penalty kicks. Alejandro Bedoya. Hooked. 63rd minute as Jimenez prepares to come on. Back to Parkhurst. Donovan. Landon Donovan dragged down. Flipped in the air.
And he went down weird there. He's all right. It's not going to be a call on the play. going to bring that sub in. He just kind of
took on a bull in Roman Torres.
Just lost his footing.
Torres with an arm bar.
Yeah, big arm too. Let's see. I'm still. I think Landon is too confused as to what. And Landon actually thought it was a free kick, which it is not. There's just too much going on right now. The referee's confused.
Look at the size of Roman Torres, though. Reminds you of a Vincent Kompany type.
He needs a new
for his team.
That doesn't fit the standard size for the armband. I think they got to get him another one.
So Gabriel Torres, surprise substitution here. Their top scorer will go off. And Jairo Jimenez replaces Gabriel Torres, who is tied for the lead in scoring in the Gold Cup with 5 with Chris Mondolowski and Landon Donovan. Gabriel Gomez.
He was not having the best of games, though, and I think trying to include Jimenez to bring a little bit more energy. The report is that Torres might be in Major League Soccer before tomorrow. He's scheduled to get on the plane, possibly go through the paperwork process with the Colorado Rapids. There's Jurgen. There's the folded arms, says it all. I didn't think he'd be able to sit the whole time. I was pretty sure he'd stand up and start moving around at some point.
Headed by Blas Perez and smashed out by Discaroo, Rodriguez, and Eddie Johnson.
That's a good fight there. Gotta call a foul. See, that's better. That's the game you're in, Eddie Johnson. You can't just expect it to be one of those trapping and passing games. Use your strength, get get those guys in a spot where they have to foul you. Because this game looks like it's going to be decided on a set piece.
Clarence Goodson. Long ball. Bedoya. Challenged by Carlos Rodriguez. Parkhurst. Back to Bedoya. Beckerman. Beasley. Joe Corona. As they switch sides. Parkhurst. And
they got a foul, yeah. It's a late whistle. It's a late whistle. It's a lucky spot for the U.S. They are going to make a switch down here. We'll see our second substitution. Breck Shea, who's had an up-and-down tournament. Horrible first half. And subbed against Cuba, responded with a great goal against Costa Rica. Let's take a look at that foul. Just got there late. Again, I mean, no real need to have a wall, so they figured that out. They only got one guy out there, but still, if the delivery is there, this could be a goal.
Donovan sends it in.
Ooh.
And it looked like Joe Corona got a piece.
There's a couple of guys comes flying through there. Bedoya looked like the most dangerous of all of them. That was Bedoya. That's a great ball from Landon Donovan. A great flight. Right about there, you're up. Man, Chen had his hands up. Well, he got lucky there. Not wise. Corona's day is done. We'll see what Breck Shea can do. And I like this sub in the sense that he'll bring pace to that wing. And I hope the message was clear. Get after
him. Now Eddie Johnson. Johnson near touchline, keeps it in play. Johnson trying to free himself. Crosses. Parkhurst.
That run from Parkhurst.
Bedoya.
Donovan! Big save! And the Americans take the lead!
As that ball comes in, Landon doesn't get it, he whips it. But Brexit, right place, right time. Great look at it here. Might have been still going in, but why not? Be sure. Get it over the line. Go ahead. Let's see the reaction from Jurgen.
1-0. The Americans looking to win their first Gold Cup since 2007. Remember the big goal Shea came up with from Donovan in the Costa Rica match.
They just hooked up in a different way, for sure. I'll tell you, we've been talking a lot about the importance of getting it wide and overlapping run. But Parkhurst's run, even though he doesn't get the ball, creates that space. That's the only reason why that goal happened. There you go, kid.
Shea, low cross, Eddie Johnson. And the Americans will line up for a corner.
Take a look at it there. It does hit the back of, looks like Chen's head. Let's see what they do on this corner. They got a couple of weapons in there. Eddie's got to be definitely one of them. Goodson and Beechler. Beechler's been a great decoy up to this point, but
Landon Donovan with the corner kick, fourth of the match for the United States. To Beasley, steps in.
all right, let's take a look at when I'm talking about overlap, sometimes it has to be the run in behind. This is the run that creates the space. When you have a back line that's been so organized, this cross never happens if he doesn't make that run. And it puts everybody on a heel. Great job, Parkhurst. Good timing. Good goal. Gotta love it.
Shea scoring 42 seconds after coming on for Joe Corona. So the two coaches replacing Jurgen Klinsmann. Great timing on that sub.
I mean, look, you know, you can never predict some of those kind of things, but you know, his inclusion we've already seen it a couple of times, but I think that it speaks volumes of how much preparation goes into this and how much the communication, sometimes the nonverbals is when you got a guy that's been around you long enough, he knows exactly what you would have done. So
Andres Herzog, Martin Vasquez. Sanchez, right-footed, swings it out. Ball headed in the air. Chin, far post. Roberto Chin got a good look.
Yeah, that ball was in there forever. Probably could have been a couple of fouls. This referee has decided to let some stuff go. Landon tries to clear. It's up in the air. In a good spot for Chin. Hits it clean. That's a feeling of relief. They didn't like it. Could have been their goal. Yeah, it's a head squeezer. That's what it is.
73rd minute of the Gold Cup final. The Americans looking for their first cup since 2007 when they defeated Mexico 2-1 right here at Soldier Field. And this big story in this tournament has been the return of Landon Donovan.
And he's contributed. We just showed that 9 of 10 games. I mean, that's phenomenal work. It's what Jurgen is hoping for. A hiatus is over. He's been fantastic through this competition. I don't think he's done yet. It's obviously a game that you're going to want to keep him in there for the duration.
Quintero. Gabriel Torre. Make it Gomez. Bedoya. Americans have won 10 straight matches. But this the most important because it's for a trophy. Sanchez. You're talking about how exhilarating a feeling it is to not only play for a trophy, but also if you have an opportunity to win one.
And I think every player that's in this group, it's such a reward for all the hard work that they've all put into this, regardless of where they're standing on the team. These are the days you remember.
Orlando Blackburn, there's number 16 in now for Gabriel Gomez. Nick Romando. $57,900 in attendance for this Gold Cup final. Very good crowd considering that the Mexicans bought most of the tickets. They expected to be here.
It's a very good point. But in actuality, I think Panama deserves to be here. They've played wonderfully through this competition. What that was. Assistant referee having to just the communication pack isn't working.
Headed up. Blackburn can't get there. Roberto Chen.
Again, Mexico just brought so much energy into this game. Fantastic performance. He's still going. Forcing them back. That's the way you do it. Now it's contagious. You see now everybody's in on the game. Chase him down and make him make a mistake.
A dramatic start to this Gold Cup final. It was learned that earlier this week, Jurgen Klinsmann, the head coach of the American team, would be suspended for spiking the ball in their last game against Honduras in the 87th minute. He felt that the referee was not making proper calls on fouls. He was tossed from the game and then suspended for this one.
In this month, a lot of people's opinions have changed of Jurgen Klinsmann. Not just this competition, but you go back a year ago, you go back before the U.S. lost to Honduras, people were saying, fire Klinsmann. I looked up today and I saw some signs in the stands that say, free Klinsmann. I'm proud of it. I think that, look, people can criticize him for being, a little bit, he said, overboiled, but that shows he cares. He cares about his players, and he's going to protect his team. Well done.
Longest winning streak in the national team's history. And the United States will get back to World Cup qualifying on September 6th when they take on Costa Rica in Costa Rica, and then September 10th, Mexico in Columbus. Prior to that, they'll have a game in Bosnia.
Look at Landon still fighting. Love to see that. He joked about saying he'd retire when he was the oldest player on the team, and he thanked Nick Romano for being out there saying he wasn't.
Jimenez marked by Beasley. Beasley taking it away. Beckerman. Now what do the Americans do? Do they sit back with a one-goal lead? 78th minute. Donovan tries to squeeze it through to Eddie Johnson.
I think that just answered your question. I don't think that that's their style. Whether Jurgen Klinsmann's on the bench or not, one of the most resounding things that we've seen with this team is that they get one, they go for two. They get two, they go for three. That's probably what their mentality is right now. They trust their defenders. They got to make plays. They got to defend. That's their job. They get that second goal. They get that second goal. They put this game out of reach.
Jimenez near touchline. Deflected by Breck Shea. And Beasler will send it out of play. Possession 72% for the Americans. Maurice. And a foul. This one will go against Marco Sanchez on Landon Donovan. Julio Dele Valdez. On his Panamanian side. They can strike quickly.
I'm going to call it handball. Oh, boy. Not the best decision from Nick Raimondo. Just got to slam that at Beasley.
Jurgen Klinsmann saying we want to win this thing badly and keep growing and get to Brazil where the big music is played. Jimenez, far post. Clarence Goodson and Blas Perez both challenging for the ball.
Perez is going to get his fair share of goals, but he's up against somebody that's just as good as he is in the air. He's saying we went up together, there's no foul. Goodson's hard to jump with, man. He's a big kid.
He's long. Blackburn, far side, Quintero. Crosses over. Quintero taking his time. And loses it. Eddie Johnson. Up the touchline. To Donovan. Looking for an overlapping. Shea! Here's Shea! Can he get it off? Donovan! Eddie Johnson.
Just looked like a great break from the U.S. Greg Shea just got the ball caught under his feet. First touch let him down.
Bedoya.
Positioning is really good from Panama. They've just really locked it up. That's a great one.
Shea looking for Beasley. Shea on the return. Beckerman. 82nd minute. The United States a little over 8 minutes away.
Position. That was a great fight. It was like 4 fouls. They just had to keep letting it go.
Shea again. And Jimenez swipes him clean.
Yeah, he'll learn as he gets older as a player that this is not the kind of game where you want to keep taking it into a tough spot. You want to beat him early, beat him to the wing. Because you're going to get something positive out of it, either a throw in or a corner kick. If there's a foul from behind, Blas Perez has put a lot into this game, a lot of frustration. It's not over yet, but things looking promising for Jurgen and the gang.
Beasley to Donovan. Nice touch, Donovan to Shea. Shea again. Crosses. Oh, come on. Eddie Johnson just couldn't direct it with his boot.
It's just weird how that play came. Look at Landon Donovan on his knees. Just basically figures out a way to get it to Breck. Oh, there he goes. He disappeared. Where'd he go? Still smiling, though. Tab Ramos, assistant coach. Somebody pick up Jurgen.
Still a lot of time for Panama. 84th minute. Jairo Jimenez with the free kick. Torres. Quintero curls it inside. Paris. Now Blas Perez.
That's a great play by Beckerman. Panama's pushing. This is going to get good because they have to. They have no choice. They have to expose themselves in the back. They have to throw numbers forward if they want to have any chance of getting in this game. That's the reason why every single one of them is standing, not sitting.
Thrown in. Godoy unable to control it. Jimenez traps it, moves forward, looking for Paris, and Rechet got a toe on it. Paris. And Blas Perez knocking down Kyle Beckerman. The U.S. beat Panama in the Gold Cup final at Soldier Field in 2005, 3-1 on penalties.
We see that play again. That's a great ball from Rechet. Right about now is when you have to have convenient amnesia. Just forget it. It never happened. Wait for your next one. The guys can't believe it.
Correction, they beat him at Giant Stadium, not Soldier Field.
Last time the U.S. won was here in Chicago. That's where everybody expected to play. That would be Mexico. When Panama beats Mexico twice, I think it's fair to say they deserve to be here today.
Here come the Panamanians. Quintero looking for Rodriguez. And Parkhurst coming over.
All right, I hate to bring this up, but this has been some trouble for the United States. This is how Panama beat Mexico in a very similar play. What happens here is Torres will wait. He'll just pretend like he's uninvolved in this play, but you got to watch it. Number 5. He's going to try and sneak in. Abuses all over him.
Jimenez with the corner kick. And swinger. Discaroo. Now Quintero. Jimenez again in the corner. Tried to get it through. Eddie Johnson there. '87th minute.
There's basically 4 forwards now for Panama, throwing everything at the U.S.
Roman Torres coming up. He'll overlap Blackburn. Headed away by Beckerman. Sanchez. And Raimondo comes out.
This got landed. This could be good.
Here comes Donovan. Eddie Johnson in front. Rechet on the wing. Johnson on the right flank.
Great job by Panama. I mean, 6 shirts immediately back. I think that's 7. This is where you grow as a team. You understand that now is not a time to do anything silly. Keep the ball. Get it in the corner. They're already tired, but they can't hurt you if they don't have the ball.
Americans will try to keep away now. 88th minute of the Gold Cup final. 1 goal. Rechet coming in the second half. 42 seconds after coming on, he scores.
Much more animated there. Andy Herzog just yelled out at his players to manage the game. Be smart.
Now a sub will come in. Omar Gonzalez, recently called up.
Now take out Bedoya. Now, the thinking here is, look, I've seen enough of the crosses and them throwing bodies forward. If there's one guy that can help you, it's Omar Gonzalez.
It looks like there will be 4 minutes added.
And what they've done is they push Beasley to left midfield. With Landon Donovan on the right.
Eddie Johnson down.
It's not good.
Marcus Beasley. As Johnson finally gets up on his feet. Looks like he's hitting the solar plexus.
Catch your breath, we need you.
Beasley. Looking for Johnson. Harris sends this one out of play.
Well, this might take a while. This is where you have to be smart. All right. That's nowhere in the vicinity of smart.
Pushing and shoving going on. And a yellow card will be handed out. Eddie Johnson will pick up a yellow, retaliating for what he felt was a cheap shot that sent him to the ground.
Beasley just having a word with him. Let's finish this off. Nothing stupid. You know, it's a couple people at fault here. Very seldom is the guy that started it that gets the yellow, but rightly so. He's a little out of line.
Oz Perez. 4 minutes of added time.
He's trying to instigate there. That's still going. Let's see what they can do here. They know this is just desperation. They got everybody forward.
Gonzalez.
That's why he's there.
Using his size. Reese. Beckerman. Johnson fighting with Sanchez. Johnson called for a foul.
And here we go again. Just lump it in there again. Gonzalez. He got smashed on that play.
He gets up quickly.
He got hit right in the face.
Americans
again.
Just 1-0 lead, scoring in the second half. A little over 2 minutes remaining. Johnson keeps it in.
Well done.
Eddie Johnson will take his time getting up.
As he should. We're all kind of watching the clock. He's off and running. He's hoping that he can be there in the locker room after the game's over.
Post-game celebration.
Nervous moments for those guys. All of them have a chance to get a medal. Thought it was a class move by Jurgen Klinsmann to fly the 4 players who were a part of the team earlier back. Okay, Jack McInerney, Corey Ash, oh boy,
and Jimenez will pick up a yellow. Rex Shea. A yellow on Jairo Jimenez. Shea has to try to rub it out.
There's Ivan Pereira always there. It's a long day for the trainer. Let's take a peek here. Yeah, it's a little extra. All right, here we go. I mean, again, if you're Panama, you're going to put as many people as forward as you can. Try and get win the header, get a knockdown.
Hudson stepping in. Beasley heads it out. Shea.
Unlucky there. That's not what he was looking to do. Can't do that.
Al Sanchez.
There it is.
And that's it. Jurgen Klinsmann wins his first trophy as the head coach of the United States national team, claiming the 2013 Gold Cup 1-0 over Panama. And there he is with the fist pump.
I don't know if you want to call him an unlikely hero. Breck Shea, once again, with the game winner. The two biggest games, in my opinion, Costa Rica and Panama. That man came up huge.
Breck Shea celebrating. Jurgen Klinsmann saying he wanted his players to be able to figure things out on their own. I can't tell them everything, he would say. They have to figure it out. Job well done today.
Absolutely.
In a tough, tough match against the determined Panamanian side. The captain, DeMarcus Beasley.
The hardest part for Panama is you have to stay and you have to wait. And there's the award ceremony, and it's a chance that's gone past. Martin Vasquez, everybody's going to get out. It's a great feeling.
And Stuart Holden on his feet, had to leave after the 18th minute with the knee injury. Will be reevaluated later. But there's Jurgen Klinsmann. 11 in a row for the Americans.
Disappointment for Panama, but exhilaration for the U.S.
Las Perez, Landon Donovan. 1-0 the final from Chicago. Exhilaration for the German.
You're watching the CONCACAF Gold Cup on Fox, presented by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Welcome back to Soldier Field as the celebration continues. The Americans defeat the Panamanians 1-0 to claim the 2013 Gold Cup. And moments ago, our Grant Wall had a chance to catch up with the captain, DeMarcus Beasley.
DeMarcus, first Gold Cup championship for the U.S. since 2007. What has it meant to you to be the captain of this team?
Oh, man, it's unbelievable. I'm lost for words right now. It's an unbelievable feeling. It's an unbelievable feeling that we have a chance to go to a Confederations Cup, in 2 years or 4 years. And I'm so excited. I told this group from the beginning, this is what it's about, winning a championship together. Not about the world spot, not about anything else, but today. And they went out, played well. I don't think they had a shot on goal, and I attribute that for the whole team.
11 straight wins now, all-time record for the U.S. national team. Has this team turned?
So DeMarcus Beasley so proud of these young American players. And a little later on, when we come back, our Grant Wall will talk to Landon Donovan. 1-0, USA. Welcome back to Soldier Field. Gus Johnson along with Eric Ronaldo. The Americans celebrating on the pitch after winning the 2013 CONCACAF Gold Cup. And Eric, your thoughts on this undefeated tournament for Team USA?
And that's really it. It is a team. Well done, U.S. Well done, Jurgen Klinsmann. Welcome back, Landon Donovan. The streak is alive, and this one has 11.
And moments ago, our Grant Wall had a chance to talk to the American legend, Landon Donovan.
Landon, first U.S. Cup championship since 2007. What have these 3 weeks meant to you?
It's meant a lot to all of us. We came together beginning of July. We had a dream and a goal, and I think we showed once again the American spirit, and I'm so proud to be a part of this team.
Take me through the decisive scoring sequence.
Alejandro cut in, and he hit a ball. It deflected off their guy. I tried to shoot it. Wasn't my finest moment, but I missed the ball, and fortunately, Breck was there and tapped it in.
11 straight wins for the U.S., some World Cup qualifiers, now the Gold Cup. Can this team do some damage in Brazil at the World Cup?
Well, we'll see. This is a lot different than a World Cup, but we're making a lot of progress. A lot of guys here who weren't a part of the qualifying, and we want to keep pushing each other, getting better and better leading into Brazil.
Thank you, Landon.
Breck Shea with the game winner. The Americans win 1-0. Congratulations to the United States, the 2013 CONCACAF Gold Cup champions. If you'd like to see the trophy presentation, just flip on over to Fox Soccer. For Eric Ronaldo and Grant Wall, this is Gus Johnson saying so long from Chicago.